This week we watched Lesbian Vampire Killers, and you were telling me that this may be your new favorite film.
Oh,
You still stand by that?
I don't think I've ever said that. But I do have a little appreciation for the film.
Okay.
And I think it's only because I'm a fan of Gavin and Stacey. If you don't know what Gavin and Stacey is, it's a British sitcom, and it's really good.
Yeah.
But that's why I like it, I think. I don't like it, but it's what I imagine if they sat down in a pub and just spoke about like a weird story.
Yeah, on a night out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to be referring to the main two characters as Gavin and Smithy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I couldn't remember the names anyway. Just a heads up, yeah. So the film starts and Gav gets dumped by his girlfriend and Smithy gets fired by his boss.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then the credits are at the start as well, which is not a good sign usually.
No, that's when you should have stopped watching the film.
Yeah, it's like they're scared that no one will make it to the end of the movie to find out who's actually in this trash.
Yeah.
Did you notice or did you pick up on the sound effects?
I did. There were some weird ones.
I picked up that there was sound effects for absolutely everything in the first 30 minutes of this film.
Yeah.
So any sharp movements, head movements, sound effect.
It was like an episode of The Scrubs.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
I don't know why he was a clown to start off with.
Yeah.
But when he goes into the room, and it was like one of those typical audition rooms, just an open empty room, like a dance studio or something like that, because that was the cheapest place they could rent, I'm sure.
Of course.
And he just sits down and he's like, I don't like kids, really.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's like, that's part of the job.
He's like, oh, can I do any gigs with for adults?
Yeah, adult clowns, yeah.
So Gav and Smithy decide to go on like a getaway trip.
Yeah, because he's been cheated on. He wants to get away. So the thing about that, where they're deciding where to go, they throw a dart.
So they throw a dart at the map. We then cut to them getting off the bus. They go into this pub and then they sit down for a pint or whatever. And there's the biggest exposition dump I've ever seen in a film between the man at the bar and the vicar that comes in.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the story that they've probably talked about for their entire lives, they decide to discuss openly and loudly from start to finish.
Yeah, but they've definitely spoke about it before, but for some reason they decided to do it again.
I had a problem with this film. You know when they get to the cottage, they have a wooden shack for a toilet outside, but a fully modern shower upstairs.
They didn't obviously finish the toilet reno. It's questionable actually why they've done that.
Yeah, I know they would need them to be isolated and to leave the cottage to be picked off.
Yeah,
but there's a better way.
Don't do it that on the nose.
No, yeah. Oh, and Gav's girlfriend then wants him back for some reason.
Yeah.
She somehow finds out the completely random English town that they've gone to without any possible way of finding that out because Smithy breaks Gav's phone at the start.
Yeah. There's no communication between them whatsoever.
No, and then she just pulls up to this 1 in a million chance town where he is.
And also the phones were like flip phones, so they're not posting to Instagram or anything. There's no crazy stalker stuff going on.
No. Psychic stuff?
I mean, there are lesbian vampires.
Could be anything.
But what I did like, because obviously the two main actors had done this movie. I don't whether it was while they were filming Gavin and Stacey or after.
It was midway through season 3, so peak Gavin and Stacey, yeah.
Their on-screen relationship is just how Smithy and Gavin are on the show. It's the same relationship, just in a different movie.
I mean, at least I think I noticed in this, at least they tried to give Smithy some personality.
Yeah.
In this movie. Whereas Gav has been given nothing to work with. Like, he's so boring in this. If you compare to, say, his role in Bad Education, where he's the head teacher in Bad Education.
I've seen a little bit of it, yeah.
He's brilliant in that. He's even better in that. Don't crucify me. But he's even better in that than I think he is in Gavin and Stacey. And yet, in this movie...
Dull.
It's nothing. Yeah, nothing at all about him. They're with these girls in the cottage, yeah. The one girl, she speaks to Gav... and tells him about the folklore.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only conversation that they have on their own. And later on in the movie, Gav's ex-girlfriend turns up at the cottage. And then this girl is like, I've been saving myself for the right man my whole life. And then when I finally meet him, he's got a girlfriend. And I was like, she's had like 2 conversations with this guy. And the one was just telling him about the folklore around the town. And now she thinks she's in love with him.
They move fast up in Norwich. Maybe it was because she'd been, studying the town's folklore, so she knew who he was. Because the priest had concerns at the start. He went up to Gavin and asked if he was, I can't remember his name, so memorable his ancestor was and the character he plays was.
Yeah.
So maybe she knew. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, because what made people realize that he was the descendant was the birthmark on his chest.
Yeah.
The scratch. But she hadn't seen that at this point.
No, not yet.
I don't think anybody had. So
even Smithy hadn't, probably.
Yeah, he probably subconsciously knew it, but he didn't think it was relevant to the fucking vampires that were attacking them.
Yeah.
This film was hard to get hold of.
Yeah.
But I went into CEX and was looking to buy this movie, but they didn't have it, luckily. So
that's dedication to the show. This show that we do, that's dedication.
It couldn't be more than, say, 50p.
This would be one of the movies that they leave the disc in the DVD case for.
Yes.
Because they don't care if someone nicks it.
There is a scene where Smithy fills condoms up with holy water.
Yeah. The name of the sword, I think, was my favourite bit.
Is it Dialdo?
Yeah, the sword
something?
of Dialdo.
Yes.
And I actually audibly laughed because that was actually funny.
There was another good thing though. The Vicar's crossbow has a cross as a sight, which is actually badass.
It works quite well too. Like it looks cool.
Yeah.
And it sort of functions, kind of. It misfires a little bit.
Yeah, and also you find out that simply holding up a cross to these lesbian vampires sort of like propels them back a few feet.
Yeah, it's enough to keep them at bay. You could just put 4 crosses around them and then they're kind of stuck.
They leave the cottage to get this sword. That's the only thing that can kill the queen vampire or whatever. And then they go and get it, and then they turn up to where they've got to save Gav from, and then they just leave it in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we probably should have said this earlier, but the reason for the vicar's like interference in this whole thing is because his daughter is it's the verge of her 18th birthday, which is for some reason when women in this town turn lesbian and also turn into a vampire.
That's because it's legal then.
Legal to be a lesbian?
No, just like legal for them to have 18-year-olds show their boobs in movies.
It ends with a shot of an animated werewolf howling. Did you see that?
Yes.
Upon further research, this is actually a gay werewolf, apparently.
Yeah.
So to set up a potential sequel, so what like Lesbian Vampires 2, gay werewolf killers?
No, I think the movie will just be Big Gay Werewolf Killers.
Big Gay Werewolf Killers.
Yeah.
I'd have watched that sequel too.
Yeah. But do they have any relevance to it though? Because he's the descendant to kill the lesbian vampire queen, not to kill the Big Gay Werewolves.
Yeah, they drive off saying, oh, let's just travel around the country killing all more lesbian vampires.
But the queen's dead, so are there any?
Yeah, and this was just set in this one town.
Yeah.
This was the lore of this one town, not like the entire country.
Maybe there's more. Maybe she's just, like we have the queen of the UK. Maybe there's other queens of different towns.
Oh, like a cinematic universe almost. Maybe even better. Smithy is the descendant of the gay werewolf.
Maybe
killer.
That could be it. But werewolves are, they transform. So I feel like people would know if there were big gay werewolves in their town.
You'd like to think so.
And it would be dealt with by more than just 3 people in a car with a dildo sword.
Yeah. And what would be the weapon to take out the gay werewolves then?
Probably a silver butt plug.
Dan, once again, nailed it.
I think we've just wrote the sequel. We have the plot. We just need a random town in England or Wales, and we have just a grave with a silver butt plug in it.
Yeah.
And then we got ourselves a movie.
Did you have any other notes on this?
I didn't really. Like I said before, there wasn't anything that stood out to me too much.
Yeah, I don't have any final thoughts on that one either.
But if you've seen the film or you do watch the film, let us know if you have any outside opinions, if you've never seen Gavin and Stacey before.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen Gavin and Stacey, watch that instead.
Yeah, just watch that instead, actually. Let us know what you think of Gavin and Stacey.
What are we watching next, Dan? What's the next movie?
I think it's called Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Killer Clowns with a K?
Yeah, Killer Clowns with a K.
Can't wait.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one.